Well, hi there, guys. So I've decided this time around to actually dispense with the fancy introduction and stuff like that. I kind of wanted to do a little bit of something, but I think we're going to wait until the next game in this series first before we do any of that. We'll go ahead here and we'll just switch straight on over to the system. So we're back here with USA Basketball. So probably Monday's video, I think we'll go ahead and take a closer look at all the wonders and everything that was the Team USA. But for right now, I'm just mostly focused on trying to figure out what exactly it is that I'm doing. It was definitely a problem to not have Patrick Ewing in there. So that was our password, all right. And this is what we look at now while we're trying to play Angola. So let's hope that we can actually beat Angola. We'll go through all of the introductory screens. Not going to worry much about that. Yeah, we do want Ewing in there. Jordan, we definitely want in there. Johnson, I think we went Johnson instead of Stockton. I wasn't having much success with Stockton last time around, so let's give this a try. Let's just give the default lineup sort of a try and see what happens. So the one thing that I've learned is that you need to push the A button if you want to do like a special move, and you're supposed to go to like these special move zones. You can also fake a shot with the A button to try to get your defender off of his feet. So I did take a look quickly, at least, at the instruction manual to see if I could get a little bit of help for us. I'm not so sure how much help necessarily that is, but at least I kind of understand sort of the logic of the game. It might take a little while, though, to sort of figure out the right way to figure everything out in this game. This is going to be way off. So there's the good and the bad in this game. One of the reasons why I kind of want to play a little bit more with it than just giving it like one go and calling it bad or whatever is because I do think it's a little bit more complex than it seems at first sight. That was at least my my suspicion as I was playing it the first time. I will tell you though that the poor shooting by the players on the Dream Team is definitely something that's of concern. I'm not sure exactly what the logic is for the game or how you're supposed to take a jump shot. Are you supposed to be completely unguarded or exactly how that works? I know that it feels a lot like Tecmo NBA Basketball, except a lot more sluggish. I mean, like notably sluggish. It's kind of funny because when Tecmo came out, a lot of the video game review magazines criticized it because it didn't have some of the things that this game has, right? This game has a bunch of like, player moves and stuff like that. The thing though about Tecmo is that the scrolling of that game is just a lot better. And the overall feel of the game is a lot better. That one feels a little bit more like an actual game, whereas this feels like, I don't know, it feels like you're sort of playing against the game. Somebody else had remarked on the first video, and they're absolutely right that, when you look at the screen, it's the animation of this game is just awful. And yeah, so there you have Michael Jordan almost shooting an air ball for that, what is it, like a 10-foot jump shot right from like the side of the basket? I mean, that's kind of a ridiculous thing to think about. Anyway, so that's the sort of game that this is. Of course, Team USA in real life didn't play this poorly against anybody, which I think is one of the complaints of this game. You would think that Patrick Ewing would be able to hit a shot like that. You would also think that I'd be able to get up and dunk that. Sort of the logic of the game, as I was reading through some of the manuals for the older games in the series as recommended, is that there are certain zones that you're supposed to go to and then push the A button to do those fancy moves. So it's kind of an odd type of game. It's odd type of game logic, and that's where you have, players doing different things to like all of a sudden like fly through the air and all of that. But somebody else was saying you can make it so that you're fouled a lot by just sort of shooting from or putting up a shot from the right part right around where I just did, and try to win the game by getting a whole bunch of foul shots. So there's a lot of stuff in this game that may not be necessarily the best in the world. This is definitely a good advertisement for the old NBA Live series, which was much, much better done than this and which felt a lot smoother. Anyway. So like somebody was saying, the problem is that you're pushing A when you're not running. Just so you know, if you are not used to playing this game or haven't played it before, if you push the A button, you cannot push A and run at the same time. Your guy will just stop. So it's one of the problems with this game. Like I said, the reality is that when you play this game, you feel like you're spending a lot of time sort of fighting against the game itself. See, if I push A, he stops, even though I'm still pushing the button down. And if you push C, it's only a jump shot. You have to push A to get the special thing. So, like, don't ask me why they decided to have two buttons do the same thing. It's kind of weird. It almost feels to me like the controls of this game were sort of like put together almost like by a committee. It feels like it was put together by a bunch of people. We should be able to make that shot, right? We have a huge height advantage. It feels like this was, put together by a bunch of people who thought that there were certain things that had to be part of a basketball game, whether it actually makes sense or not. The other thing is, you guys can give me some advice on this, but it feels like it's not actually possible to like really play defense in this game. It feels like no matter what you're doing, you're going to have very, very similar problems on defense trying to stop any sort of shot. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's any worse than any other game, because Tecmo NBA Basketball definitely, in all of its forms, has a big problem with defense. But it just feels really frustrating if you're trying to, play a competitive game against Angola and you can't because you can't play defense.
Foul.
Jordan, man, what are you doing? Why foul there? Oh, they didn't get shots that time. Okay, that's interesting. And see, that ball was passed like behind me. I didn't even see the pass. Anyway, I don't know overall exactly what to think about this game, which is one of the reasons. Why do I have a guy following me like that? What a weird thing to do on offense. So there you go. There you go. So if we push A and we're right in that zone, then we do like some fancy thing or whatever. But and for this game, unlike prior games in the series, it doesn't tell you in the manual what your special moves are. You have to like know, which is kind of strange. There was somebody else who talked about playing NBA Jam for the first time after being used to games like this, and yeah, it's totally different. This is a totally different feel, which is one of the reasons why NBA Jam was so popular. Is it feels like you can actually play the game, right? Whereas this, like I said, it feels like you're playing kind of against the game. You're playing not so much like you're playing against the computer. It's more like you're playing against the controls.
Charging.
Oh, charging. Hey, we drew a foul there. That's kind of a weird foul. So at least in the Tecmo series, like if you draw a charging foul, you'll see the guy like run into the other guy and knock him down. Here it just calls charging, which is weird. You're stationary and it's going to call charging? I don't really understand that. Maybe Jordan has to be up here to do his special move. Anyway, I'll still have to do a little bit more research and see if I can figure out exactly the way to stop those. But as I said last time about this game, like if you search around, you will find there are a number of people online who complain about this, including the one review of this game on, is it on GameFAQs or was it on a blog? I can't remember where it was I saw it, but the one review I saw of this game was extremely negative, saying that it's horrible because you think, oh, I'm going to play this great game with all these star players, and then you play it and you realize that like their shooting percentage is like 30% or something like that. It's pretty frustrating. Similar, by the way, to yeah, Barkley, what are you doing? Did Barkley have hair? What's going on there? It's similar if you're playing Legends of the Diamond on the NES, the old baseball game. That's definitely a game where you get really frustrated because you're like, oh look, okay, so that time he fell. That was a lot better. That was a pretty move. I don't remember ever seeing anyone on Angola do something like that. You ever seen an Angola player do that sort of like 360, you know? Oh, I guess I wasn't listening to the sound, so I didn't hear them tell me to shoot. Alright, we do need to make a change here. I hate to say this, Barkley, but we're going to take you out. And then I think we're going to put David Robinson in. There we go. It just amazes me, though. The thing is, you know, like how slow this game is. Again, compare this to the Tecmo NBA basketball series, which came out, you know, not at the same time as this. I think it came out a little bit. Oh, that's nice. That was nice. I think Tecmo NBA basketball on the NES came out in December '92, so it would have been a little bit later than this. But the Tecmo series is just so much faster and it's so much easier to play. I mean, the real problem that I have with this series is that it's not easy to play. It's got kind of weird logic to it. Yeah, whoever it was that told me to do that is absolutely right. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to get yourself in that situation. And, you know, if you're sort of close to the key, you can draw a foul almost every time. The other interesting thing, of course, I've seen this on websites and stuff, memes that people have made and stuff like that, is that when you shoot free throws with guys who are not really good free throw shooters, it really is not easy. Oh, come on, Larry. And that foul screen is weird. Like, what were they thinking when they made that? I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. So you have this guy who's like crying every time there's a foul? Anyway, the other thing that's interesting about this game is that EA came out with 3 games in the same year. So they came out with Bulls versus Lakers in this game, and then I think Bulls versus Blazers, or something like that, sort of in that kind of general order. What in the world was that? I mean, we made it. Okay, that's good, but what was that? What was that move by Stockton? You ever see John Stockton do that move where he, like, you know, kind of throws the ball up in the air behind his back? It was like a layup that's like, I don't know, like if you're like a 5-year-old kid and you're trying to emulate the NBA, you don't know what you're doing, you know? That's what that looked like. That was a really, really bizarre play. See, yep, we drew the foul. Every time. Oh, no. I mean, anyway, the animation of this game is good, but man, it's just so slow. It's like Larry Bird has to like sit there and think about it before he dunks the ball. It's almost like he's gonna say a prayer, you know, like please let me actually reach the rim this time. And that was a kick pass, by the way. Anyway, good time. So yeah, we're gonna play through this game. Hopefully we can make it so that we don't play just 6 games and done. Looks like we're doing okay in this particular game, so maybe we'll be all right in the long term. After we're done playing this, I'll probably do a series with something else. Somebody was asking me to play a full series of like a full season with Tecmo. I don't know. If I were to do that, I would do probably the Genesis version of Tecmo NBA Basketball, either Genesis or Super Nintendo. I wouldn't do the NES version. I've tried doing that before with the NES version. That looked more like a layup. There you go. I tried doing that with the NES version back when I was a kid, but I mean the controls in that game are just not really where we want them to be. And the biggest problem with that game, of course, is that once you sort of get the hang for it, it becomes extremely repetitive. Dude, I mean, who jumps from over there? That was from behind the free throw line. That was an NBA Jam style jump, or dunk. That was amazing.
Charging.
Oh yeah, take that. trying to draw that foul, and we didn't. Is David Robinson really faster than their point guard? That was like one of those old-fashioned stop-motion animation dunks. Like a flipbook type dunk. That's what that was. Anyway, I don't know if I want to do a full Tecmo NBA basketball season or not. You can let me know kind of what you think about that. Oh, come on.
Charging.
Anyway, the reason why that happened is I pushed A right there, and he was in the right place at the right time. And yeah, I know John Stockton's not going to block that. Send me a screen, Robinson. Can you set a screen in this game?
Foul.
Oh, that was Jordan. I thought for a second that was Barkley. No, it's Jordan. He doesn't have hair. So you can see that EA was definitely going for form over substance here. So like the players are rendered so that they look a lot like the players they're supposed to be. But like the way that they move is really, really, really clunky.
Foul.
This has got to be. Yeah, we're gonna take Malone out. I don't know. Has he even scored for us? Yeah, we'll put Pippen in. There we go. You can tell this was sort of like the type of game that they were preparing for, like, you know, being able to show people like, oh, we have this basketball game, come check it out, you know, as opposed to, you know, really wowing people with the action and stuff. That really is where Midway did an excellent job with the NBA Jam series, because when you're in the arcade and you see a game like that come along, you start really paying attention. Of course, because it was an arcade game, first and foremost, it was always going to be a game with that type of action, right? It was always going to be something that looked like really, really nice and amazing. Because, you know, when you're in an arcade situation, you're trying to get kids to, there you go, there's Jordan's signature move. When you're trying to get kids to pay attention to your game, you have to make it so that, like, there's something that they actually are attracted to. You can't just, like, you know, sort of dump off whatever your contractor gave you, whatever this is supposed to be, you know, and be like, oh, that's probably going to be good enough. This is Scotty, right? Yeah, there you go. Good job, Scotty. How come you don't play like that from an NBA Jam? I don't know. Someone's gonna have to send him a tweet and ask him some of these questions. Come on, Scotty, you gotta do better than that. I love how Jordan stealing is him pushing both arms out in front of him.
Foul.
Oh, Jordan with another foul. He's got 4 personals now. Oh, we only have 1 minute left. We should be okay, I think. Just sort of calm it up. Yeah, let me know if there's a way to, like, actually call plays in this game. Because there are a number, I think we're in the penalty now, huh? No, we're not. How many fouls is it that you get? Anyway, yeah, let me know if there's a way to call plays, because there are times here where I would really like to call a set play instead of just sort of passing it around from one guarded guy to another one and hoping to draw a foul. I mean, because that's kind of what this devolves into. This is kind of turning into, you know, foul me. And then for these foul shots, you have to hit it like exactly right to make it, otherwise you miss, which is kind of a lame system. It's not quite as bad though as the foul shooting system in NBA Showtime. If you played that, that's a game I should play on the channel. Actually, that might be interesting. Showtime's foul shooting system is not the greatest in the world. We get 3 shots.
Foul.
Come on, Michael. You can shoot free throws better than that. All right. Well, that's going to be the end of that one. So we finally win a game, 56-48. Jordan with 13, Malone with 12, Robinson with 6. So Malone did have more points than I thought. 7 rebounds from Malone. We shot 55%, which is a lot better. They shot 61%. See, that's the problem with this game. The other team's shooting way too high. But we get to play Canada next. Oh, that's going to be fun. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and just save it here, just like we did last time. And we'll come back probably Monday, and we'll play that again. So tomorrow, more NBA Jam, and then we'll come back to this one. And we'll just sort of play a little bit here. It's going to be kind of a real casual series. So if you're a casual like me, you'll enjoy it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. And I will talk with you guys later. Bye-bye.